Today, we are going to be talking about Let's Get Digital, client services team. Now, before I bring them up, I do have to just say how much I appreciate our client services team. So as a financial advisor, I get to spend a lot of time upfront, face time with our clients. And so I think oftentimes there's this perception that I'm doing all of the work. That is not the case, right? We meet and we have a number of items and issues and things that that come up and are generated. And it's the client services team that really gets in there and makes these things happen and pushes it through to completion. And the experience that you feel on your end would not be nearly as smooth. Oftentimes you're familiar with your wealth manager, you get a lot of face time with them. I think that our investment team gets a lot of time on our webinars, same with our financial planning team. Our client services team is the lifeblood. They keep everything in our organization moving smoothly. They correct mistakes and things that are happening with your account. Anytime there's problems, these are the folks that really make it happen for you to get those problems corrected and fixed. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and start by introducing Sunny Allen. Sunny, you want to come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, as Josh said, I'm Sunny Allen. I'm the client services specialist here at Apriem. Believe it or not, I've been here now about 3 years.
Fast.
It's gone by really, really fast. I actually came to Apriem when I wanted to re-enter into the financial services industry after having my first child. Since then, I now have 2 kids. Crazy. And my husband and I really enjoy taking them to Disneyland and then also to the zoo. So we enjoy doing that in our free time.
That is wonderful. And so I do have to say that Sunny has been a lot of fun to work with around here, and we are major fans of Disney together. So we get to nerd out together on all things Disney. So anyway, we'll bring Sunny back up here in a little bit. Next, we're going to go ahead and introduce Lindsay Duran.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Lindsay. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Lindsay Duran, and I'm the client services manager today at Apriem. So I've been here now for about 5 years. My background actually came from Nordstrom. I used to work in the beauty department there. Hard to believe, I know. But my background in customer service has allowed me to transition into my role at Apriem pretty easily. When I'm not at work, though, I do enjoy hanging out with my boyfriend, eating at new food spots, and hanging out with my 2 dogs.
So Lindsay's my go-to advisor when it comes to food. In fact, the ramen that I had today, I was introduced to Hiro Nori.
Yes,
Hiro Nori. Yep, by Lindsay, and it's my favorite ramen ever. So if you need a good place to go, call her. All right. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much, and we'll have you back up in a little bit.
Perfect.
Last, we're going to go ahead and bring up Sean Covarrubias. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Josh.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. As Josh said, my name's Sean Covarrubias. I'm the Vice President of Client Services. I've been here 12 years. It's hard to believe. I met Rhonda and Harmon many years ago. I won't date ourselves, but I was lucky enough for them to bring me into the Apriem family. And I am currently married with 2 twin daughters and a son and 2 dogs. And when I'm not at work, you can find me down in Sacramento walking the beach trails.
Ooh, we got to hit the beach trails together.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Apriem field trip.
All right, Sean. So tell me, what are we going to be talking about today?
So today we're going to be talking about getting our clients digital. So taking them to the different digital tools that we offer, such as our client portal and Schwab's website as well. So our topics today are going to be who we are and what we do, Apriem website, the Apriem portal, also known as the client portal, our Schwab Alliance, secure email ShareFile, and at the end, we'll have time for some questions and answers.
Okay, that's a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but it sounds like we're off to a good start.
Yeah, looks like we're ahead of schedule. So 1 down and 5 more to go. So there's a lot to do on the Apriem website, but for today's purposes, we're just going to be focusing on the client login. So you're going to go to www.apriem.com and you're going to go to the right-hand corner where it says client login and click client login.
Perfect. Okay. So I've gone through, I've clicked client login, and now I get to this screen. What am I looking at here?
You are looking at 3 different sites that you can access through Apriem's website. The first is the portfolio portal, which is also the client portal. which is Apriem site. The second button is Schwab Alliance. Schwab is the custodian of your accounts. We're the manager of the accounts. So that button will take you to Schwab site where you can see your accounts, the ones we manage, as well as the ones we do not manage, if there are any. And then the last and third button is Apriem Total View. That's our financial planning site. So we're not going to be covering that today, but if you have any questions regarding Apriem Total View, just reach out to the financial planning team. They'll be happy to help you.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we have 3 different portals really that we can talk about here. It sounds like we're focusing on the first 2. So starting with Portfolio Portal, you know, what's my Portfolio Portal for? What can I find there?
So what you can find there is a glance at all of your accounts that Apriem manages. A lot of the wealth managers call it our Apriem report card. So you can see your portfolio performance, you can see your asset allocation, as well as the quarterly reports are posted there at the end of each quarter by Apriem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I click my Portfolio Portal.
Yep. And it's going to take you to number 2, your Apriem login page. So your login is your email address is your username, and then your password is whatever word you created when you set up your Apriem portal. If you don't have an Apriem portal, please reach out to us and we can either reset your password or set one up for you. So once you click there, you go to number 3, which is your landing page. So it's always going to come up with your combined accounts. So an aggregate view of all your accounts combined. You can click through the different tabs at the top, which can show you, like I said, asset allocation, your holdings, any transactions. Now, all of this data is from the prior day's closing. So it's not real-time data. But if you want to break it down by individual account, you can go to the drop-down menu where it says find data here. And when you hit that, all the accounts will come down and you can choose whichever one you'd like to view and it'll change the view.
Perfect. Okay. So what if I want to make a trade? Can I make a trade here?
You cannot make a trade. So there's nothing you can do on this site that will change any data or move money or place trades in your accounts.
Okay. So forms there?
You can't get your tax forms there. Well, we could upload them there, but we generally don't. But that's where you'll find your quarterly statements. Those go out 2 weeks after each quarter end around the 15th of the month. So you'll get an email like number 5, where it says that there's a document ready for you to view, which shows sign in here. It'll take you back to that login where you use your email and password, and then you'll go to your landing page. On the blue banner, you'll see the documents tab.
Is this number 6?
Yes, number 6, sorry. So when you hover over that, the word vault will appear. And when you click on vault, it'll take you to number 7, which you will see your statement there in PDF format. When you click on that, it'll open up. You can view it, you can print it, or you can download it.
Okay, so I can see this is Sean's quarterly statement that we have
That's our
in here. Okay, so as far as this is a great place for me to be able to go and find my quarterly reports from Apriem, which show how we're doing and fees and everything there. Are there other documents that I can get in here?
Yes, so we also put your annual ADV form there. So you'll see that once a year, you'll get a notification email. And we can put any documents there that you sign, which when you first become a client, we upload all your applications, client forms, Apriem forms to this site as well. You can access all of those, and all your past quarterly statements as well are always kept in this vault. You can also upload documents to us, but for sake of time today, we're not going to go over that. But if you'd like to set up a time to come in and meet with Lindsay, Sunny, or myself, we're happy to do like a private lesson on the Apriem portal.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, so before we leave, what do we want to make sure that we do?
So we always want to make sure we sign out of any secure site that we're on. So you would just go to the far right corner where your name is in blue, hover over that and click the sign out button.
Perfect. Okay. Any last comments there on Portfolio Portal?
No, just make sure to log in and play around in it, because you can't change or affect anything. So we encourage you to take a look at it.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So that's my Portfolio Portal. It sounds like we get really good. I like it because it's summary information, right? Oftentimes it's really the big items that most clients really are asking for.
Right.
But what about Schwab?
So it's important to go to Schwab, but I'm gonna have Lindsay let you know
Okay,
how to log in and what to do with your Schwab login.
well, thank you,
Thank you,
Sean.
Josh.
Sign out.
Hey,
Hi,
Josh,
Lindsay, welcome back.
good to be back.
Okay, so Sean just introduced us to the portfolio portal on
Mhm.
Apriem's website.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to using Schwab Alliance. Why would I want to log in my Schwab Alliance account when I have portfolio portal?
Well, as mentioned before, Charles Schwab is our custodian. So that means that's where all of your assets are held in accounts and that we are the advisor who manages them. So having a Schwab login is very necessary for you to be able to view all of your accounts online, regardless if you have an advisor or not. Because there could be some accounts that we do not manage. So therefore you would not be able to see those accounts on the Apriem client portal. And yes, there are many reasons for you to have a login to Schwab, and we'll go ahead and go over that once we click that button.
Okay, all right, well then let's jump right in. There we go. So I've clicked my Schwab login. What happens next?
All right, so next, so this is very important. This takes you to the login screen for Schwab Alliance. So here you'll input your login credentials for Schwab, but please note your login ID is not your email address. This is a question we get quite often. And also we do not have your login credentials available. That is not information provided for us for security purposes. Of course, if you do forget your login ID or password, or you just don't know what it is, we do encourage you to call Schwab Alliance, or you can always click right there where it says forgot login ID or password to try and recover it yourself. Personally, and with like more success, I usually call Schwab Alliance because also you can talk to somebody and they can definitely help you get that reset.
Okay.
And that shows right there that there's a phone number to call. So Apriem Portal does pull information from Charles Schwab. So that's why it is that there's that delay. But like Sean said before, in Charles Schwab, all that information is in real time. Now on the screen, you can see underneath that login to Schwab Alliance screenshot, there is another like blue banner screenshot showing another way to access Schwab Alliance. If you don't go through our website and you go directly to schwab.com, it will take you directly to your Alliance dashboard. Once you are logged in, to the right, number 3, this is the heading for your landing page for Schwab Alliance. So we can see this for like our own personal logins, but basically everyone has the exact same heading landing page for their Schwab.
Okay, and so it looks like this gives me the capability to make trades or move money around.
Correct.
Is that recommended?
Not necessarily. We would rather have you call us, but of course, for today's webinar, we are not going to go through those features of the website.
Perfect. Absolutely that time of where statements or my tax documents.
Okay, yes, you're right. Tax documents are here to stay for now. So if you're already logged in the Schwab Alliance, you're going to go to the top left corner and click on accounts. While you're on that tab, go ahead and click on statements, and this will take you to the statement landing page, as this is a common question that we do get. So right now you'll see at number 2, it does show a 1099 dashboard. So because we are in the heart of tax season, this is where you'll go to access all of your tax documents for your accounts. Underneath that, as the year goes on, you'll only be able to see number 3, where it shows your statements. And here we have it clicked to where it's showing your tax documents and statements for all of your accounts that you have. And then also here, you can also go as far back as 10 years to search for any of your statements or tax documents if you should ever need them.
All right. So if I just to recap, what you're saying is later in the year, this 1099 dashboard piece that's on top actually ends up going away.
It goes away, yep, just because tax season's done and it's sort of unnecessary.
Now, what if I log in, find my way here, and my 1099 dashboard is blank and there's nothing in there?
That generally means that there is no tax document generated for that particular account.
Okay. Now, how about like hacked or something? I had else type of a situation.
Okay, that's a great question. And that is a question that we do get quite often because, of course, people move, addresses change, and emails change. So keeping your contact information up to date at Schwab is super important because we do want to make sure that they're going to the right place. It is sensitive information. And that is something that once you can go ahead and go up to the top right of the web page and you'll see there's a profile. It's like a person icon. And once you're there, go ahead and click on contact information, and this will pull up all of your contact information for your accounts. So as you can see in number 2, it is showing your primary contact information. And then here you can update your email, phone number, home, and mailing address if different from home. And then of course, underneath it's showing an account address. So here, if you are updating your email address and account address, you do need to update on the primary contact and also on every single account level.
Okay, so just to recap on that one, so I have to make that update. My email address has changed. I can't just update the primary section. I have to make sure that if I have 3 accounts, I've got an IRA, I have a Roth IRA, maybe I have a custodial account for my kids, right? I need to go into each one of those and separately update that information.
Exactly, or else it won't change. And
So-
we want to make sure that's complete.
That sounds kind of like a lot. You know, if I'm technologically impaired, would it be okay if I just called you? Would you be able to help me with that?
So we can definitely help you with updating, but we cannot update it for you on your own. Unfortunately, clients do have to update that information. The way we can do that is we can send you a Schwab form. You can log into Schwab Alliance, or you can also call Schwab and they will update it for you.
What if I have a laptop? Could I come into the office and you guys help me do it?
Absolutely. Yep, we actually would very much welcome that.
Okay, all right. So there you have it, folks. You've got a number of different solutions on how you can address this. We are here to help, right? But again, we don't have direct access to Schwab, so we can't just do it all for you. But there's absolutely all sorts of great workarounds where we can help support you through that.
Exactly.
Okay, well, very good. Let's see here. So how about forms? All right, so I know Sunny was talking about forms earlier. How do we sign forms? What kind of forms do we get?
So I'm actually going to go ahead and pass this off to Sunny and she'll go ahead and discuss this with you.
All right,
Okay.
Lindsay, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Hey, Sunny,
Hey,
welcome
long
back.
time no see.
All right. So we left off talking about forms, and so you are the expert when it comes to electronic forms. Do you want to help me understand what's I guess our first step to signing any kind of forms that we need to get done?
Yeah, so I think we'll jump right where Lindsay kind of left off. So once you're already logged into Schwab Alliance, there's a couple of ways you can access any forms we've sent you. So that will be up in your messages in your Schwab Alliance log. It's just a little bit over to the left. If you click on messages, you'll click on that first one in your drop down. That will be the most recent one that has been sent to you. That will take you into your actual inbox, which you'll see in number 2. And then once you click on that, again, that first message in your inbox, it will bring you to number 3, which is what the actual message is. And you'll see right there in blue, that review envelope button. Once you click that, any of the updates that you've asked for us to go ahead and process, it will have a series of prompts for you to go through and then approve that so that you can adopt it on your profile going forward.
So as an example, I'm updating my beneficiary, and you guys have made the updates in the form, but in order to make that happen, this is where I would go to sign that document.
Yeah, so it might not look exactly like a document, that might be, because as Schwab kind of moves towards this like digital format, it's becoming a lot more interactive, right? So it's like, okay, so it looks like your primary beneficiary is longer son number 2. They don't ask you for more details, but we'll leave that to you. But it does go through and approve all the same information that is on a paper form or a digital form. It is in there in some fashion, any disclosures, anything like that, account settings. You'll go through and approve all of that.
So essentially, if I'm hearing this right, this is allowing us the opportunity to put in a request to make some updates, right? But then for security purposes, we want to make sure that you are actually approving that these updates are approved, they're allowed to go through, and the verification itself is the client's ability to log into the website with their username and password.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a good example of this is, for the beneficiary update, and we'll take my name, for example. Most people don't spell it right? So if somebody were to say, make Sunny my beneficiary over the phone, they'd probably spell it S-U-N-N-Y. Now we do our best to always double check, triple check, but this allows us that if we ever do make a mistake, we are human, it allows you to be the last person to go ahead and check that for us before it gets updated on your account. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So what about, I know we have different types of emails that go out and they look a little bit different. I know we're looking at 2 different ones here on the screen. You want to talk a little bit about these kinds of digital envelopes versus DocuSigns?
Yep. Okay. So this is a hot topic even here in the office. So I know this gets really confusing. So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. But so this is an example of if you're not already logged into Schwab Alliance, right? You're just going about your day, checking your email, and oh no, now I have a form to sign. Okay. Well, I know I met with Josh yesterday. Okay, so I think I was expecting these. Here we go. So there's a couple different ways that we can send forms. The first of those is digital envelope. This is typically going to be our first choice as your client services team. And the reason for that is it's the fastest way to get your Schwab account updated. So if that is available to us, we will be using that tool for you. Your email will receive for that digital envelope will look like this on the left. It will prompt you to sign into Schwab Alliance, and then you'll follow the same steps as before. So you'll go up to your messages, you'll follow all those prompts and approve whatever changes may be. Now, for some things, DocuSign is the only option we have to send that form. It's not available on digital envelope for whatever reason. So if that is the case, we will send you a DocuSign. It will look like the one on the right, and you will hit review documents. Now, this follows currently a more standard procedure that people are
Signing ceremony.
Yeah, that people are really used to seeing. So it's that two-step factor authentication that people love and hate. We're all guilty of it. But if you go ahead and do that, right now, that is the way that is set up. Now, going forward, we know that pretty soon here, Schwab is going to change that, and it will also prompt you to sign into Schwab Alliance.
Okay.
So one thing you might be asking is, what if I don't have a Schwab Alliance login, or I'm a new client and I haven't had the opportunity to create one yet? That's built into the system. So if you are supposed to log into Schwab Alliance and you don't already have one, it will prompt you to create one. So it just has a little bit of an extra first step for you instead of just logging in.
It's a gentle nudge to getting everybody digital, right?
Yeah, and I will say, as much as Schwab is moving toward all of these digital practices, there are still a handful of forms that require physical signature, the tried and true. And so you will be seeing some of those. Sometimes outside firms don't accept e-signatures for whatever reason. So we're looking at that as your client services team. So for any transfers you have going, just be on the lookout for those as well, because some do require physical signatures.
Yeah, I will note too that sometimes just from an accommodation standpoint, I moved. We don't have internet access or any of those kinds of things set up. You know, there have been cases before where we've had to mail some documents. So while we're trying to move away from that, and the whole world is slowly but surely moving away from that, there are those situations where it's required and can be done.
Yeah,
right.
And I'll probably kick myself for saying this, but we even have fax machines. So I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, all right. So we've got digital envelopes, we've got DocuSign. How about these e-authorization emails? I know I've seen those as well. So what's the difference here?
Okay. So what we've been talking about up until this point are basically account updates, right? Whether you're adding beneficiaries, changing your address, whatever that may be. Now, an e-authorization email typically deals with a money movement transaction. Okay. So a little bit of different verbiage here, but that's what we'll get into. So that's on the left-hand side, again, how it would look on your email. If you were looking at this on a desktop, just looks very similar to the one we looked at prior, but
the digital envelope.
Yeah, digital envelope, but instead this will say review transaction. So just slightly different verbiage for you guys. And once you click that, you'll follow through a very similar process as before, which you'll see on the next screen. But I did want to go ahead, and while we're still here, we'll go back one more. Sorry, get a little bit ahead of ourselves, but
my fault.
Hey, it's okay. I'm excited too. So on the right-hand side there, we did want to include, just for you guys to know, as Schwab is rolling out these new features, e-authorization being one of them, we have found that the interface on the app is actually more user-friendly and a little bit more reliable for going in and approving these transactions. So we included some screenshots of how that looks on your mobile device. But I did want to point out, because we all have been talking about so many logins and passwords, and again, love-hate relationship there. With the Schwab app, depending on what kind of phone you have and what kind of software you have on your phone, you can do something like Face ID or your fingerprint, something like that to get into your account, as opposed to always putting in your user ID and your password.
Makes it a lot easier.
Way easier, definitely easier for me. So,
Actually, it feels more secure than clicking things inside of an email too.
yes, so that's how it looks if you get like a push notification on your phone. But if you go to the next screen, we'll look at kind of what it looks like. So on the desktop, very, very similar. Once you click that link to review that transaction, you'll log into Schwab Alliance and you'll be able to see in your messages that your authorization is needed. And then just again, slightly different verbiage on that actual message there that says review and approve transaction. But you'll just follow those prompts, same as before, to get your transaction moving along. For the mobile app, you will, once you're logged in, you'll actually have this red banner up at the top that says move money notifications. So once you click that banner, you'll be taken directly into your message center. And you'll see right there at the top, unread, urgent, pending transfer. So lots of great words for you to
Do this now.
to push you along to go ahead and approve that transaction. So yeah, we hope that's helpful for I know you guys see a lot of emails from us, so we want to be able to allow you guys to differentiate between what you're seeing, but I hope this makes it a little bit easier, not as intimidating, I hope.
So I think that's really, really helpful. However, how about in the case that we have, we wanted to share some secure documents, but it's maybe not something that we need a signature on, like our tax forms or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Do we have a secure way of helping people to send those documents?
Yeah, so I know Lindsay shared earlier how to go ahead and download those from your portal, but as we all well know, as we're talking about getting digital, technology is completely, not always the most reliable. So what happens if you have a meeting with your CPA that afternoon and you need all your 1099s and you can't get them? If you go ahead and call us, we'd be happy to help. So we can send a secure email, and we use a platform called ShareFile. So we adopted this probably a year and a half ago, so you've probably seen it, but we haven't really gotten a chance to train people on it. So but if you ever request for us to send these documents, this goes ahead and encrypts all of your personal information. So we use this to send statements, tax documents, wire instructions, anything that has an account number, social security number, anything like that, we'll send via an encrypted email.
No, we send out using this. And what about can we receive documents with it as well?
Yeah, so we can. I know Sean mentioned uploading things to your client portal. There's a similar way of doing that with ShareFile. Sometimes our clients prefer to use that. We can always email you a link to go ahead and drop things in ShareFile, much like Dropbox. It works very similarly, but
It's just more secure.
Called something different and more secure. Yes. So with that, I will say the one thing that we do request is if you're wanting to share these encrypted emails or secure emails with a third party, so say your CPA or an estate attorney or, oh gosh, I don't know what else, escrow agent, anyone, then we just ask that you go ahead and share their contact information with us, as these emails are email specific and they can't be forwarded. So if you go ahead and try to pass that along to your CPA, they're gonna run into some trouble trying to download these. And again, that's for your protection, to protect your information. So if you've asked us to share that with a CPA and you've given us their email, they'll be CC'd on this as well. So you will receive an email that looks like this, where it says view encrypted message. And we did want to take a moment to go ahead and say, if you're not expecting an email from us, go ahead and call us and ask if we sent it. All of these emails that we're reviewing that we send out for forms, we understand that it's taking you to a third-party website. So we understand that phishing scares are big right now, but always feel free to give us a call. That's job security for us, and we'd be happy to talk to you. So go ahead and give us a call, and we can definitely confirm whether we sent you something and if that link is safe to click.
I think that's just good practice in general,
Yeah.
whether you're dealing with us or anybody. If you get an email that tells you to click something and you're not expecting it, verify that it is in fact who that email says that it is. We've gotten them internal, you know, where their emails where it looks like it's from somebody else in the firm. Practice, if you get something and you're not expecting it, always confirm that it was actually sent.
Yeah, and of course, for documents you're going to download, you don't want to download anything crazy, but especially for things you're going to sign, go ahead and verify what you're signing. Just safe general practice there.
Yeah.
But for the sake of this demonstration, this is a secure email. We were expecting this. So we're going to go ahead and click that link, view encrypted message. It will take you to number 2. So it's going to prompt you to input your email, your first name, your last name, your company's optional. So don't worry about that. But again, remember that's in fact sent to. And then once you verify that information, you hit continue, you'll be able to read whatever that email says. It's typically pretty basic. And then download whatever documents you did in fact request.
That brings us to Q&A.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So as we finish this up, we get into Q&A here. Just a reminder, if anybody has any questions that have come up along the way, go ahead and submit your questions into the Q&A box. It does look like we have maybe 2 that have come up here so far. Bear with me a second here. Let's drop that down. I'm going to go through and we're going to read a couple of these. Oh, okay. This is a good question. Okay. So it says, Apriem does not use two-factor authentication as my bank and credit card companies use for security. Any plans to increase website security? Sunny, do you want to take that one?
So I guess one of the questions I would use to clarify here is, it sounds like you might be talking about the client portal. And if that is the case, I might direct you to Sean. But as far as two-factor authentication, you will see if we are sending you Apriem forms through DocuSign. You are correct. We don't use the two-factor authentication. That's because we're pulling your information directly from our system. And so I find that it's easier for you, not to muddy the waters, but our previous e-signature software that we did use didn't require that two-step authentication. And so that's partially why when we went back to DocuSign, we decided to kind of not do that for you guys. Makes it a little bit simpler. But on the client portal, if that didn't answer your question, I'm not exactly sure if that's a feature that is coming out. We can definitely look into that and we can get back with you. But I think we would have to reach out to Tamarack on that in order to find out if that's going to be a feature that's coming.
Yeah,
we're kind of limited.
Couple of notes on there too. So for our general website, there's not actually a username and login feature to get any kind of back access to the website. The logins are all portals that are going to third-party websites. Charles Schwab as an example. Charles Schwab does require two-factor authentication, and that's the only place that you can go and initiate any kind of move money transactions or trade requests or really any kind of activity on the account. The other portals are all just their sources of information that come in at the same time. So, Sean, anything you want to add on that?
Well, we can definitely reach out to Tamarack, who is the third-party provider for the client portal, and see if that's a feature that we can enable, because your information is, and the security of that is the utmost importance to us. So we will definitely look into that and get back to you.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. This is a good question too. So I live out of state. I'm not able to visit Apriem's office often. I've seen Schwab offices around my neighborhood. Am I able to use a local Schwab office if there is any task like depositing a check that I would rather do in person.
Yep, that's a great question. You can go into any Schwab branch anywhere and they can look up your account, or if you have your account number, they can deposit the checks for you. If you're comfortable, you can also mail them directly to us and we can deposit them here in our office directly to Schwab as well.
I think this is a really important fact for everyone to know. We talk about custodian, right? Who has custody of your funds. Schwab is the custodian. Your money is at Schwab, right? It's not at Apriem. We are here as, think of us as, or an add-on, right? You bundled additional services into your investment management and wealth management. So we're here as an added addition or service to your account. If you ever chose not to work with Apriem anymore, your accounts are still at Charles Schwab, right? So Schwab is there, and that's the base of all the financial events that are going to happen there. And we just come in as an added bonus or added service to help you do everything. So you're always welcome to go directly to Schwab for anything. But if you want us to do it for you, that's what we're here for.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that's great.
Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is, okay, a couple of last, will Apriem ever have an app? The answer is
That's a great
most
question.
like, so we actually got very close to moving forward with an Apriem app about a year ago, but for some technical reasons, we didn't feel that the development company was ready to provide what we wanted to you yet. So yeah, it is in the future. And so this is actually fantastic. If there are any features that you would like to have access to out of an Apriem app, we would love that you share that with us. You're welcome to email me directly, josh@apriem.com. And we're always looking for ways that we can continue to make your experience better. And an Apriem app is in the future. We just haven't crossed that bridge yet. And then lastly, I can see that we got a message here saying that I get a 6-digit verification request when I log in. So I'm not sure which login that is to.
I think that's Schwab.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's probably
should be your
Schwab. Okay,
Mhm.
so thank you for that. But again, so Schwab does have 2-factor. If you're logging into Portfolio Portal, that's just going to be username and password.
Right, username and password.
Yeah. Okay, I think that is all of the questions that we have there. So really quickly, if we would like, everybody want to come in real quick and just, we'll do a quick sign off and say bye to the team. And then I'm going to, and we appreciate everybody coming today. Client services, thank you very much for joining us today. Last thing here, I'm going to go ahead and share with everyone. All right, our next event that's coming up will be at the end of March, right? March 29th, and it will be on personal finance tips and tricks. Never get bored of the basics. So we will have our senior financial planner along with Megan, which is Christopher Whitaker, along with Megan Schwab and Cole Ducote, who are both on the financial planning team with Chris. So we encourage everybody to join. You'll be getting an invitation here shortly. And then on top of that, again, just a quick reminder, please remember to fill out the survey. Let us know what you think and what we can do better. And that, we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.